There's one more concern, which is vendor lock-in. That anxiety is there, especially in the AI infrastructure space. How does a composable architecture actually protect enterprises from making decisions that, I mean, that won't harm them years from now? It will totally eliminate the whole tribal knowledge and, the whole technical debt they will incur otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is palpable fear that companies have, is that they will get locked into that scenario again where they're beholden to a single monolithic architecture that doesn't evolve at their pace, that doesn't respond to their needs. There was a time for that. That time has passed. Now, what companies prioritize is composability and long-term flexibility. You have to build in iterations, change, adds, and deletes into your capability set. So composability is the architectural answer to a landscape in permanent beta. Nobody knows what the dominant AI hardware looks like in 5 years. The model layer is changing faster than any infrastructure team can track. Networking architectures for AI like InfiniBand or Rocky or NVLink fabrics are all evolving simultaneously. If your infrastructure strategy requires ripping and replacing every time one of these layers shifts, you're going to be in a constant state of disruption. So that's what we solved for. We made Cordant AI the ability to build on a composable declarative architecture, which means organizations can swap components without rebuilding the entire stack. You can adopt a new accelerator, plug in a different storage backend, integrate emerging tooling without starting over. That's not an accident. It's a design principle we've held since our Kubernetes native foundation. And it matters enormously for enterprises that have real compliance, security, and operational continuity requirements. They can't afford to treat infrastructure as disposable. Composability is how you give organizations the freedom to evolve without the cost of chaos. It's why we call Cordant AI the OS for AI infrastructure. An OS doesn't lock you into applications, it enables them.
No, once again, so well said. Thank you. I'm also kind of curious looking at your and Mirantis' background roots in OpenStack, because the scale at which OpenStack deals with, nobody can match. Have you seen any patterns, lessons from that era that you're bringing into how you folks are building infrastructure for AI today?
Yeah, absolutely. And I wonder if this will surprise you a little bit in terms of the answer, but it's not just the fact that we've built the most capable and robust AI platform for the modern era. It's that we have the human equity that we apply against it as well. So our professional services and managed services is what we learned. These companies need help and they need handholding at times, and they need to be able to have their people trained and certified and have the ability to support these engagements with that human capital. And so that's a big takeaway for us. It's something we've been doing really well for, as I mentioned, the Fortune 1000 companies that we've been so proud to work with for decades plus, is that we become partners with them, not just at the technology level, but we support them at the human level. And that allows them to do things like call us in when they need help, or even use our managed services that actually run their platforms and manage the day-to-day for them. So that's a really big one. It's the combination of that kind of service and support with the platform itself. The other is just the nature of evolution as being something you have to factor in, as I was mentioning earlier. This needs to be able to change on a daily basis if required. And if you don't have the tooling to do that, then you will be stuck in long development cycles, beholden to a multitude of vendors. Whereas we have aspired to and are proving that we can help companies achieve their corporate goals and their revenue goals by finding the right partner to be able to manage that complexity for them. And it's not just a local equation. The companies we deal with are global in nature, and they have outposts, and they're beholden to certain sovereignty and security and financial requirements that are different across geographies. And so to be able to build that into your capability set is also something we've worked hard to do so that we could be that answer on a global basis for the world's leading companies.
And open source actually make it more tempting that you feel like, yeah, we can just put it all together. Day zero, day one is the easy part. You can install everything, you can download everything, but then you have to deal with all the patches, you have to deal with security, you have to suddenly deal with functionality and the scalability, and that's where you get stuck, and then suddenly your project fails. This may be a bit off topic, but I do want to talk a bit about, because you folks are in the infrastructure space. There are a lot of challenges these days. Of course, hardware is a big challenge. Availability of hardware, cost is a big challenge. Now, AWS, everybody's kind of working on building their own chips as well. NVIDIA is entering the software space as well. Where do you see hardware vendors and software platforms converge or diverge as AI infrastructure evolve? Where do you see Mirantis in that world?
Yeah, so that is really kind of the model that I envision being accelerated in the near term, and we're starting to see this this bundle kind of approach, which is you can't look at these pieces in isolation. You have to understand how your hardware works with your GPU, works with your operations infrastructure, and I mean, you may have seen Jensen's 5-layer cake. You have to actually keep that in mind and think about how you build using that. And what that does is it really gives you some kind of clarity of mission, if you will, to a certain extent. You want to package together the solutions that make the most sense for your organization. And the hardware vendors realize that they need these additional layers and capabilities to ensure that their customers maximize utilization and satisfaction with their products. So that's why we work together with Dell, with Supermicro, to ensure that when we get in front of the customer, we have a very simple story, which is this is, as I mentioned with our NVIDIA relationship, pre-validated. We have the reference architectures. It's tested, accredited, and ready to go. And so the more that the hardware vendors can do that, the more they'll make it easily digestible for their companies to not only use what they've bought, but to have the level of satisfaction and confidence to go out and continue purchasing at scale. So it's an important part of their growth. And that's where we come in, is we are that AIOS that ensures that you can set it up, optimize, maximize, and build for the long term. And we don't need to boil the ocean on day one, Swapnil. Like we go in there, we're happy to start with small amounts of infrastructure to get you up and running. But the truth is, the companies that we work for are literally some of the biggest in the world that require enormous estates of technology. And the more simplified we can create that reality for them, the greater benefit we create and the better use case that we expose.